Picture this. The dead of night, a private jet sits on a darkened runway, engines beginning to whine, poised for a secret takeoff. On board, a hidden cargo, not just goods but a nation's stolen wealth, poised to vanish into the sky. Have you ever had that unsettling feeling that something significant, maybe even illicit, was happening right under your nose, just out of sight? What would you feel if you knew valuable resources belonging to your community were being secretly siphoned away by powerful interests operating above the law? In Burkina Faso, a clandestine operation of immense scale was unfolding, an audacious attempt to spirit away not just riches, but potentially explosive secrets. But what the perpetrators didn't know was that the new leadership was watching, waiting. What exactly was packed into those suitcases on the plane? Who were the shadowy figures pulling the strings? And what dramatic action on that runway exposed everything in a single, unforgettable moment? If you believe in the fight against corruption and the power of a nation to reclaim its destiny, hit that like button now, and subscribe to Magnificent Story for more untold political trends. To understand the drama that unfolded on that runway, we must first grasp the volatile climate in Burkina Faso under Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The nation was simmering with a potent mix of defiance and deep frustration. Years of persistent insecurity had worn thin the patience of the people, but equally powerful was the burning anger over the perceived exploitation of their country's vast natural wealth, particularly its gold. Many felt their resources were being siphoned away by external forces and corrupt elements within. Traoré had tapped into this sentiment, rising to power with a clear, resonant promise to reclaim national sovereignty and ensure that Burkina Faso's riches finally benefited its own citizens. This bold stance immediately put him on a collision course with powerful interests, both inside and outside the country, who had long profited from the shadows. In this tense atmosphere, places like the international airport, seemingly routine, became potential conduits for clandestine operations, weak points where illicit activities could thrive under cover. Standing as a crucial line of defense for this new era was Lieutenant Moussa Ouedraogo, a sharp and dedicated officer leading a specialized security unit. Their mission was clear and vital to Captain Traoré's vision: to actively combat illicit financial flows and meticulously track suspicious movements of national assets. For weeks, Ouedraogo's team had been working tirelessly, following a complex trail that hinted at a coordinated effort to spirit significant value out of the country under the cover of darkness. Their painstaking work paid off when precise intelligence landed on their desk: details of a clandestine shipment and the specific private jet intended to carry it. Driven by unwavering loyalty to the goal of reclaiming Burkina Faso's wealth, Ouedraogo and his team demonstrated relentless determination and meticulous attention to detail, successfully identifying the pattern and pinpointing the exact flight that would become their target. Back on the airport tarmac, under the cloak of midnight, the scene was set. The sleek private jet sat at the very end of the runway, a dark silhouette against the night sky. Inside, the final checks were complete. The pilot advanced the throttles, the engines responding with a rising whine, building power. They were moments away from takeoff, just seconds from lifting off the ground and leaving Burkinabe airspace, carrying its hidden cargo and secrets far away. But as the jet began to inch forward, a sudden, decisive action shattered the quiet. Moving with swift, almost silent coordination, a convoy of military vehicles, led by Lieutenant Ouedraogo, converged rapidly onto the runway. They positioned themselves directly in the jet's path, an undeniable barrier. The pilot reacted instantly, slamming on the brakes, forcing the powerful engines to spool down abruptly. The sudden silence was deafening, the tension on the tarmac now electric. The trap was sprung. The sudden silence on the tarmac was heavy, broken only by the distant sounds of the airport and the cooling metal of the grounded jet. Inside the aircraft, a palpable sense of shock and disbelief had settled over the occupants. The pilot, Captain Antoine Dubois, a man whose face usually held the calm confidence of years in the cockpit, now looked visibly nervous, his hands still gripping the controls. Beside him sat Mr. Armand Leclerc, the passenger linked to foreign interests with stakes in the nation's resources. Leclerc's earlier composure had completely vanished, replaced by a look of stunned panic. Then the aircraft door opened. Lieutenant Moussa Ouedraogo and his team, professional and resolute, boarded the jet. They presented their orders: a mandated inspection under new national security directives. Dubois and Leclerc immediately launched into protests, citing international regulations and demanding explanations. But their objections were met with Ouedraogo's calm, unwavering assertion of authority. This was a matter of national security, and the inspection would proceed regardless of their protests. Inside the jet's cargo hold, at first glance, everything appeared routine. Boxes and crates consistent with standard freight were neatly stacked, presenting a facade of legitimate transport. But Lieutenant Ouedraogo's team wasn't relying on appearances. Guided by the precise intelligence they had received, they moved past the visible cargo, their focus narrowed to a specific, seemingly innocuous section of the hold. There, carefully concealed beneath layers of other goods, they found them. 17 identical, heavy suitcases. The sheer number was immediately striking, adding a layer of intrigue to their already suspicious weight. This wasn't standard luggage. This was a deliberate, hidden consignment, waiting to be exposed. With the 17 heavy suitcases lined up, the moment of truth arrived. Lieutenant Ouedraogo's team began the inspection, opening the first one. The initial sight was stunning, gleaming bars of pure gold, stacked neatly, their value immediately apparent. A wave of confirmation passed through the officers. The intelligence was accurate. But the revelation didn't stop there. As they opened more suitcases, the discovery deepened. Alongside the gold, many cases contained tightly bound stacks of high-denomination currency. Large sums of cash, clearly intended to cross borders undetected, adding another layer to the illicit cargo. And then came the most critical find. Among the gold and cash were bundles of documents, not personal items, but what appeared to be financial records, contracts, and communication logs. This wasn't merely smuggling. This was the exposure of immense wealth and the potential secrets behind its movement. The sight laid bare on the cargo floor, the 17 suitcases overflowing with gold, illicit cash, and potentially incriminating papers, was a powerful, undeniable visual. It was the physical manifestation of a system designed to extract national wealth and move it secretly, now dramatically revealed on the tarmac. Following the stunning exposure, Lieutenant Ouedraogo's team moved with swift, professional efficiency. The 17 suitcases, now revealing their illicit contents of gold, cash, and documents, were meticulously documented and carefully secured. Under heavy guard, this tangible evidence of a clandestine operation was transported to a secure government facility. Meanwhile, the individuals found on board, Captain Antoine Dubois and Mr. Armand Leclerc, were formally detained for extensive questioning regarding their knowledge of the cargo and its intended destination. Ensuring the legitimacy of the intervention, Director Fatou Ndiaye, the airport official who had facilitated access, oversaw the necessary official logging of the incident, providing the crucial administrative record for this dramatic midnight interception. Though initially tightly controlled, news of the midnight interception on the tarmac could not be contained. Details, albeit sparse at first, began to filter through official channels and quickly spread through unofficial networks, buzzing across the capital and beyond. The message it sent was immediate, clear, and unmistakable, resonating far beyond the airport perimeter. To internal elements involved in illicit activities, the discovery was a stark, chilling warning. The new leadership was not only watching but was capable of decisive, unexpected action. The era of operating with impunity was over. To foreign interests accustomed to opaque deals and unchecked resource extraction, it signaled a fundamental shift. The rules had changed and the nation was determined to control its own wealth. The incident landed like a shockwave, sending ripples of unease and reassessment through relevant circles, forcing powerful players to confront a new, assertive reality. While the gold and cash represented immense tangible wealth, the true explosive potential of the interception lay within the bundles of documents found in those 17 suitcases. These weren't just papers, they were potentially the keys to unlocking a vast hidden system. Analysts are now poring over these materials, speculating on what they might reveal. Could they contain financial records detailing illicit deals and undervalued contracts that allowed national resources to be siphoned off for a fraction of their true worth? Might they expose the intricate network involved, naming individuals, companies, and intermediaries both within the country and operating internationally? Could they lay bare the specific mechanisms used for these illicit financial flows, showing how money was moved and laundered across borders? And perhaps most critically, could they reveal the potential complicity of officials or foreign entities who facilitated this exploitation? The discovery of these documents transforms the runway interception from a simple seizure of assets into a potential turning point, offering the chance to expose and dismantle a larger system of corruption and exploitation that has long plagued the nation. Consider the sheer audacity and meticulous planning required for this operation. Attempting to move 17 suitcases packed with gold, large sums of cash, and sensitive documents on a private jet, under the cover of midnight. This wasn't a small-time smuggling attempt. It speaks volumes about the sophistication and reach of the network involved. Such an operation suggests deep connections, access to private aviation, and a level of confidence likely born from past successes or perceived immunity. This incident highlights a critical issue facing many resource-rich nations: illicit financial flows. These hidden movements of wealth severely undermine national development, draining resources that could fund essential services and infrastructure. For Captain Traoré's government, dismantling such deeply entrenched systems, which often involve powerful domestic and international players, represents an immense and ongoing challenge, far greater than just one midnight interception. For Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the midnight interception on the runway was far more than just a seizure of illicit cargo. It was a major political victory. This dramatic event provided tangible, undeniable proof to the Burkinabe people that his promises to fight corruption and reclaim national wealth were not just words, but actions being fulfilled. It powerfully solidified his image as a decisive leader, willing to directly confront and challenge powerful domestic and international interests who had long operated with impunity. However, this victory comes with incredibly high stakes. By exposing and disrupting such a sophisticated network, Traoré and his government are directly challenging forces with immense resources and a great deal to lose. This confrontation elevates the risks, highlighting the dangerous path taken in the fight for national sovereignty and control over resources. The dramatic events on that runway in Burkina Faso signify far more than just a single incident. They are a powerful illustration of broader political trends sweeping across Africa, particularly within the Sahel region. This interception is a clear manifestation of the growing assertion of sovereignty by African nations. Leaders like Captain Traoré are openly challenging traditional power dynamics and long-standing relationships with former colonial powers and other external actors who have historically held significant influence. This event positions itself as a real-time example of the intense struggle for resource control and economic sovereignty playing out across the continent. It highlights the determination of some nations to ensure their wealth benefits their own people, even if it means confronting powerful, entrenched interests. Such decisive actions could potentially influence other nations and leaders facing similar challenges, inspiring them to take bolder steps to protect their national assets and chart independent courses. So, what can we learn from this dramatic midnight interception on the runway? It underscores the vital importance of vigilance against hidden corruption and the courage required to challenge powerful, entrenched interests. It highlights the immense value of precise intelligence and decisive action in protecting national assets. This event also reveals the deep interconnectedness of wealth, power, and information in shaping a nation's destiny. Ultimately, it reminds us that the fight for national sovereignty and resource control is an ongoing struggle. The exposure of those 17 suitcases filled with gold, cash, and documents was more than just a seizure. It was a powerful symbol of a nation asserting its right to control its own wealth and future. This is the unfiltered reality of nations fighting for what is rightfully theirs. Thank you for watching. If you found this story insightful, please like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Magnificent Story for more deep dives into political trends. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation.